Hi, garden friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Era, and this is Gardening on Purpose. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A, where I do garden-related videos. It's the first week in May. I'm at Walmart, and I'm checking out their newest plant inventory. First up, we've got some Oriental lilies, guys. These Orientals are the ones that have a fragrance. Compared to the Asiatics, these smell nice. Now, these guys here are going to be $17.97. This particular variety is the Sunny Bliss, $17.97. Part sun, they say 3 to 6 hours of sun. Really, really love these. One, because they bloom a little bit later, and also because they have this really nice fragrance. I'm standing here and it smells amazing. Now, I do have the Presidente, I have the Stargazer, which smells really, really nice and more of a red hue, whereas this guy here is more of a light yellow. It is really, really nice. Right next to that one, we have this guy here, which is more of a white with like a purpley pinky hue. And this one here is the Sunny Bahama. Right here, Sunny Bahamas. This again is also going to be $17.97. Part sun, 3 to 6 hours of sun. It has a really nice, interesting color because it looks like it's white, and at the edge it's more of a purpley pink. Right? Let me know if you have this guy. It smells amazing. Next up, we've got some Corabels, also known as Heuchera. Now, these guys here are a part shade to shade plant. This particular one here is the Carnival Rose Granita, $5.97. They're saying part sun, but for me here in Georgia where it's hot and humid, I prefer to put this guy in part shade to shade. Next up, they've got some hostas. I love hostas. I have many hostas in my garden. Now, this particular one I recognize because I have it. This one will be so sweet. Let's double check. Okay, yes, so sweet, $8.97, guys. Love this guy. The flowers, again, I keep, just like I keep for the Corabels. These smell really nice, and the hummingbirds love the flowers. The flowers will be white, and it smells amazing. Love this guy. They have a lot of them here. Also got some phlox. Now, this particular one here is a really nice purple. This one is the Flame Pro Purple. That will be $8.97. This is saying part sun again, but again, for me, my phlox are in sun, especially this one here where it's very susceptible to mildew. You definitely don't want this to be in shade too long. So I have this guy in more than 6 hours of sun, and they do really, really well for me. They have several of these right here. Really, really like phlox, and phlox is one of the underrated perennials that when we talk about pollinators, we really don't mention phlox, but I've noticed that the phlox are doing really, really well when it comes to the bees and the butterflies. Really, really love them. Some Asiatic lilies here that are finishing up with their bloom. They were really, really pretty. This is what the blooms looked like. And again, the Asiatics are the ones that bloom first. They bloom before the Orientals, and they don't have any fragrance. Now, this one here was the tiny bicolor Asiatic lily, and lilies are very cold hardy. You can keep lilies in the containers, and even though you go below zero, lilies are reliable when it comes to cold hardiness. So the thing with the lilies, you have to remember, even though this guy is done blooming, do not cut this back. You have to let this die back slowly so that it can get the energy back into the bulb so you can have even more lilies next year. Even more hostas, guys. Now, I don't recognize this one off the bat. Let's see what it is. All right, this is in a bigger container too. This is going to be Earth Angel, $15.97 for the Earth Angel hosta. Don't believe I have this one, but I sure do like it, guys. Hostas are tough. They come back reliably every single year, and as they come back, the mound gets bigger and bigger. Hostas for me are going to be in part shade to shade because it gets too hot and humid in Georgia. There's another hosta right here. Let's see what it is. It's more of a chartreusey green. And it's just saying green hosta, not a fancy name. Now they're saying 1 to 3 hours, which is pretty much about right when it comes to me in Georgia. All right, guys, keeping it moving, we have the Armeria. This one is going to be $8.97, and the variety is Dreameria Daydream. 6 hours of sun, grows 10 to 12 inches tall. Now, this guy here is a pretty plant. Let me know if you have this. I definitely do not have this in my garden. They have quite a bit of them here at my Walmart. More hostas, guys. This particular one here is the Minuteman, which I have in my garden and does really, really well. Minuteman is going to be $8.97, 3 to 6 hours of sun, they say, but again, mine are in part shade. Really, really nice. Now, here's another hosta. This one is Diana Remembered, which I have in my garden. Diana Remembered is going to be also $8.97, 3 to 6 hours of part sun, and it does really, really well. When I bought it, it was in a 2 quart, and it now is pretty much double the size, and it looks really, really nice in the garden. All right, guys, they have a lot of hostas, a lot of hostas. Now, here's another one here that's already blooming. This one is American Halo, which I do not have in my garden. American Halo, guys. Let me know if you have this one. It is already in bloom. All right, really, really nice on the hosta front. Let's see what else they have. Even more Minuteman, more Diana Remembered. Really nice. They've got digitalis, which is pretty much foxgloves. This beauty here is going to be $17.97, guys. This is another one, just like the delphinium, will do well 1 year and then it barely comes back. Now, I have one that's coming back, so I'm hoping that I got a true perennial one, but I think I remember most of these are going to be biennial. It doesn't matter anyway. I love them. The bees love to crawl inside of these guys here, and really, really nice looking plants here at my Walmart, $17.97. Not bad at all, guys. Something that's going to grow somewhere between 10 and 22 inches tall. They have a lot of them here. Next up, we've got some Liriope, guys. Love these. You know, I have these in the front of my garden, on my foundation, and also on my slope. These guys here, they come in the spicata and the muscari, but I stay away from the spicata, and I prefer the muscari because the muscari is more clumping, whereas the spicata can become an issue, right? So all of them that I have are going to be muscari. Really, really nice. They have these purple blooms in the late spring to the summer. Love these guys in the garden. They're great on a slope, and they're great as an evergreen for me here in Georgia. These guys here are going to be $6.98. Now, they're also known as lily turf. So if you hear lily turf, it's really Liriope. We've got even more of the Asiatic lilies, guys. Love these really nice, deep pink, almost red, and they have these more of an orangey red. Let's see the exact varieties, if they actually name them. Now, it just says red Asiatic lily, does not tell me the type, and this one will probably say pink. Let's double check. Yep, as expected, it just says pink. But either way, if you like lilies and you like things that don't have to, baby them, because lilies are really, really tough, I would recommend lily bulbs. They've also got Delphiniums, which is our true blue perennial or biennial, depending on who you talk to. These guys here never really come back for me, but I buy them every year because I have the hope that one day they will come back. These guys, I love them simply because they're blue. Not a lot of plants have flowers that are blue, and blue goes really, really nicely with red, orange, and yellow. These are going to be $4.97, guys. And here they're calling it a perennial. Right next to this, I recognize this guy, and this must be Liatris or Liatris. And it looks like they need to come out of this. Okay. Yes, gay feather, also known as Liatris. Now, this guy here creates structure and height in the garden because they stand right up in the garden. Now, these guys are actually supposed to be planted more than 6 inches apart, because if not, this is probably what happens. They have probably too many corms. They're not called bulbs, they're called corms, and they probably have too many corms inside the container, which is why they're struggling to get out. I have these in my yard. They are beginning to leaf back out and come out. And the ones that I have are pink and white. I've never seen another color of Liatris, but let me know if you have. All right, moving on from the Liatris, we have calla lilies. Love calla lilies. I have the Captain Solo, which is a really nice bright yellow. This particular one here is the purple and white. The purple and white for $9.97. And calla lilies I find to be not the cheapest, to be honest with you. I don't know the reasoning why they're so expensive. But when they come out, especially the Captain Solo, oh my goodness, it is gorgeous. Now look at the blooms on this particular one here. And again, purple and white. When you see these black pots in Walmart, they're not going to have the fancy names. Now Walmart does have the Better Homes and Garden, the BHG. You'll more likely find a variety name. But the black pots in Walmart are just going to call them by the color. Either way, It's pretty. Here we have another version here, which is, they're calling it pink. And as you can see, it is also going to be $9.97. There's probably only 3 bulbs in there, because I know when I try to buy calla lily bulbs as the bulb itself in the spring, you don't get a lot for your money. So I'm doubting there's more than 2 or 3 bulbs in these things. But either way, love me some calla lilies, guys. All right, keeping it moving. We have this guy here. What is this? This is the Cooper Canyon Party Succulent. Does that mean it will come back for me? That's another thing too with Walmart. You don't get a lot about the hardiness zone. Okay, hardiness zone 3 to 8, they're saying. I don't have any of these. Let me know if you do. And what is the cost for this? Doesn't tell me, but it's probably going to be $9.99. Moving on, guys, we have some succulents in a platter that pretty much you can use as a ground cover. This is really, really nice. I wonder how much this is. Okay, this is going to be pretty much $20 right here. $19.97. Creeping stone crop, they call it. And if you have an area here that doesn't stay wet and has full sun, this would be great as a ground cover. All right, on to the shrubs area here. Now, my Walmart doesn't have a lot of shrubs, but enough where I can make a little bit of content about it, right? So the first one I'm seeing here is the original from Endless Summer. Endless Summer brings out the original and the Bloomstruck and the Summer Crush and a couple more, right? This is a reblooming hydrangea, guys. It is a season-long guy that blooms and blooms and blooms. Now, they bloom blue, and in the ground for me, they come out a little bit bluey purple. Now, you can manipulate it if you don't like the blue and you want pink. But to be honest with you, I have enough pinks in my garden. I don't need any more pink flowers. But I am a big fan of blue, as you all know, if you've been following me for a while. This is going to be $24.97. Now, they say part sun. I dare not put this in part sun. It is still too hot for them in Georgia for part sun. So mine are in part shade to shade, and they still bloom just as fine. All right, more hydrangeas, guys, but there's 2 different hydrangeas in here. One is just saying high fire hydrangea, $49.98. And that's these right here coming down this way, right? And they're ultimately going to be in that black pot, right? Those are $49.98 part sun, but I still think that they would be shade for me here in Georgia. These are called big leaf, which means they have the thicker leaves, which means that they can't take too much sun. Right next to that one is another type of big leaf. This one is, let's see, this is Big Daddy. Big Daddy from the folks at Southern Living Plant Collection. Really, really nice. This guy is they say part shade to shade, which is perfect for this type of hydrangea. This beauty here. Now, how much is it though? It doesn't have the price, but it's probably going to be, I can't tell the price of this one here. They don't tell me what it is, but if I had to guess, it's probably going to be somewhere between $29 and $39. They do really, really well in my garden, guys. Look how nice and thick those leaves are. Once we get to late June and July and August, when it's depressingly hot, these leaves will burn. So I will definitely not put these in full sun. We got an area here with some roses. Now, these are likely knockout roses here. Yeah, they are knockout roses. Let's see. Double knockout right here. This guy here, $14.97, guys. And it says full sun in this cherry red, which I have in my garden. It is budded up in my garden, guys. These guys here, you know, people talk a lot of smack about knockout roses, right? Because people are true rosarians and they think that it's not a real rose and all that stuff. But this guy is so reliable. It blooms and blooms and blooms. Not a speck of a bite or an insect on this thing, and they look amazing, right? Now, these guys here are really hardy. Now, let's see. Hardy from zones 5 to 11. They also have some encore azaleas in here, which you guys know I rave about because I love them so much. This particular one here is the Autumn Sangria. They have a lot of different ones. They have Autumn Fire, Bonfire, Majesty, Royalty, Lily, you know, all kinds of them. And this one here they particularly have is the Sangria. These are the types of hydrangea. I mean, sorry, not hydrangeas. These are the types of azaleas that bloom in full sun. They are okay with getting more sun than your typical azalea, and they have all kinds of colors. Speaking of your typical azalea, these are the ones, these ones here that are pretty much done blooming, if you ask me. These are the ones that bloom in the spring, and they bloom earlier, and they can't take as much sun as the others. These are going to be the George L. Tabor azalea. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Hardy to 10 degrees and is $8.97. All right, moving on to another table that has both annuals and perennials. First up, we've got verbena, which is $6.88. This guy here is a full sun plant, loved by the pollinators, great in hanging baskets and containers, and they look really, really nice. This is more of a trailer that will do really, really great in your garden. Next to that, we have a lavender. Now, this particular one here is the Anouk Surprise. Now, Anouk Supreme. I personally don't do well with lavender, but I wish my yard did better with them. I've spent so much money on lavender already. I'm pretty much tapped out on that. But I know that they do well in other people's gardens. Then they have a Coreopsis. Now, this particular one here is the Solana Golden Sphere, $8.97. Love me some Coreopsis, guys, for many reasons. One, the bees love them. Two, they are a full sun plant that bloom and bloom and bloom all the way down to November, guys. And they are one of the longest blooming perennials in my garden. Even more lavender here. Seeing a lot of lavender this year, guys. More of the Anouk Surprise. And then we have an annual salvia right here. This particular one here, I can look at it and see it's completely bone dry already. $9.88 for the salvia. This is a Sally Fun salvia. This reminds me of the Mystic Spire Sage that I have, except that the Mystic Spire Sage is a perennial. This is a beauty. $9.88, guys. Now, here's a guy that I went nuts for when I found it, but it looks like people are not getting it because they're pretty much all still here. Now, this one here is the ageratum that I read that was supposed to bring in all these pollinators, so I really hope it's true. And I bought it for the full price, too. $14.44 for the blue ageratum, guys. What a beauty. Part sun plant, they say, that grows 6 to 12 inches tall. Really, really nice. Keeping it moving, they have a lot of marigolds. They have the yellow marigolds, and they have these beauties here as well. This is a 20 pack right here. A 20 pack for pretty much $10. Not a bad price one bit, guys, because you're getting 20 plants and you can, mass plant them. Here again is the yellow guy. Same thing with the Vinca. They have a 20 pack for $9.97. I'm a big fan of Vinca because they do so well in my garden. They do reseed sometimes, and they have all kinds of colors, the pink, the red, the white, and they just do really, really well in my garden. Next up, we have what I think is Diplodenia. Let's see, because sometimes they're calling it Diplodenia, and then one time it's Mandevilla. Let's double check. Okay, so now they're saying Mandevilla red. $5.84. It's a tropical plant, which means it will not take our cold. It will die in the winter. And they have the tropical hibiscus, which again will not take well to our cold, but if you want to save it, you can bring it in the garage or lit room with light. This guy here is a really, really beautiful. They do have the perennial versions that do come back, but these will not come back if they stay out. Now these are, and they are kind of mini braided too. You see, they have them on standard a little bit. This is going to be $14.97 for the braided hibiscus. Requires absolute full sun. Here they have a couple of hanging baskets, guys, with the Calibrachoa. This is going to be $14.88, guys. They have this really nice pink, and they have this really nice orange. And then it looks like they have a geranium here. This is an annual geranium, $14.88, guys. Again, I don't have any geraniums in my yard. They have, most times when I see a geranium, it's red, but it's interesting to see that they have this white one as well, $14.88. And then they have a trailing petunia here for $14.88 as well. Trailing petunia. I love the wave petunia, but these look good too. Not bad at all, guys. Not bad at all. All right, let's keep it moving. Now they have some begonias also in a hanging basket. Love begonias as well. $14.88. And these are more of a yellow. Right here, $14.88. Love them. They definitely have to be in part sun for me, really, because they will get beat up a little bit if I put them in too much sun. All right, next up, they got some lobelia. Now, I'm a big fan of lobelia. They have annual lobelias and they have perennial lobelias. This one is the annual one that's in a hanging basket, and you guys already can tell why I love it. It is a blue plant, an actual blue. It might be coming out purple in the camera, but it is a true blue. $14.88 for this lobelia in a hanging basket. They also have these guys, which is ivy. I dare not buy any ivy. I have a bunch of ivies running around in my yard that I would love to get rid of. But $2.97 here at Walmart for this 1 pint. Got some ferns, guys. This one is the Kimberly Queen fern. I never buy them. I always see them. I just don't have anywhere to put them. It's not part of my aesthetic, so I never really buy them, but I definitely point them out because I know everybody has their own thing going on, right? Kimberly fern is a part sun plant that's going to be $16.88, guys, and this is what they look like, right? Now, they have them in the typical pot, and it looks like, I don't know if it's Kimberly up here, too. Let me see. They have something here in a hanging basket. No, it just says annual fern. So that fern up there is not a Kimberly. This is the Kimberly for the 1688. All right, so moving on, and we're truly in the annual section now where they have a lot of beautiful things that will bloom and they will not come back for us, but good enough for a container, for your annual bed, and for your hanging baskets. First up, we have the Calibricoa annual, right? This is going to be $9.92, and this is the pot that they're in. Right, all kinds of beautiful colors. If you buy this in mass, oh man, it will look really, really nice. More begonias here. This is a really nice orange one for $14.76, guys. Now, with the annual ones, you might not get a lot of fancy names because, you know, they're not gonna make it to the end of the year. I mean, they're gonna die when we have our winter. But can you imagine this guy next to a blue plant or a purple plant? Really, really nice. Then they have a lot of the vincas in smaller sets, right? So if you only want 6 or you only want 4, you can buy the vincas that way. These are going to cost you $3.27. Keeping it moving, guys, we have what looks like impatiens. Let's double check. Yes, these are going to be impatiens right here for $3.27. They have the purple, the white, the pink, the fuchsia. Really, really nice. And then weirdly here, this is something that is not an annual, but they have it on an annual table. This is the serendipity allium. This guy here is $9.97. They're saying full sun to part sun. This is a type of allium that does not grow by the bulb. This is more of a perennial one. This is what it looks like. I have this one in my yard, I'm pretty sure, because sometimes I'm confused as to which one I have, but I'm pretty sure that it's serendipity, $9.97, guys, and they have quite a bit of them. Now we have an area here where they have a lot of the proven winners. I guess this is why this is here with the annuals, because it's a proven winners table. And with that, we have the Supertunia Bordeaux, right? That's what they look like. And this is going to cost you $5.97, guys. Right next to that one, they have the Super Bells Lemon Slice. Again, $5.97. That's what they look like, nice and yellow. Have a lot of them. And then still on the proven winners table, they have I'm pretty sure this is Diamond Frost. Let's see. Diamond Frost Euphorbia right here looks really nice in the container, right? Really, really nice. And then that is pretty much of the proven winners. And then we keep it moving with more of these guys here, the Calibricoas here. So this one is the Mix Masters Fruit Cocktail. And you can see why they call it that. There's so much color, guys. Look at how pretty that is. Now, if you don't want to make your own containers because it's too much work, or you don't feel like it's just easier, you don't want to go buy any soil or whatever, you can buy this and drop it into your nicer container and it will look like you did it yourself, guys. More of the Diamond Frost Euphorbia. And then they have the proven winners Corbels. These guys, I mentioned these earlier, but those were not proven winners. This is the Dolce Wildberry, which I have in my garden. Really, really nice. It is pretty much a semi-evergreen for me here in Georgia. We've got the Amore Petunia here, guys. This is a beauty. If you like that type of design, they have that color. It just reminds me of a circus whenever I see this thing. $8.88, guys. Really, really nice. They've got Celosia and more of the zinnias. Then they have the marigolds in this own container. So if you're looking for yellow marigolds, there's 4 in there for $8.87. And then more. Look at this pretty guy right here, the petunia. Really, really nice. This would look really nice with something yellow or orange. This one here, just as an annual, $8.88. More annuals, guys, are the begonias. Now, these ones here can't take too much sun. You can tell because they're just like this thick leaf, right? These guys are going to be a 20-pack, just like I saw those other ones up there, the 20-pack for $9.97. Same thing here with this begonia here. Great for a hanging basket, great for a container, great for your shade garden. Beautiful celosia or celosia. This guy here is also an annual that reseeds for me. The only downside, I think, to celosia is the fact that the celosias, they don't look great when they're on the other end of things, right? But when they are coming up and they're in their prime, man, are they beautiful. They got their yellow and red and orange and fuchsia. Really, really nice. $8.88. So I'm in an area where they have a lot of dahlias. They're calling this an annual. I don't know, because sometimes it's an annual, sometimes it is a perennial. It all depends on where you are. I'm in zone 8. My dahlias come back 99% of the time, right? $9.97 for this pink dahlia, no named brand. Same thing with this guy here, no name brand, $9.97, guys. Really, really nice. Keeping it moving, this one here. Now, this one actually has a name. This one is the Summer Bees Purple Bicolor here. And this is what it looks like. Really, really nice, right? And then keeping it moving, this is the more begonias. This really nice, faint, corally kind of pink. I really, really like it, guys. And then keeping it moving, even more of the dahlias that they're calling an annual, right? Really, really nice. This is what they look like. Right, and this guy here is a begonia that I bought last year. It is gorgeous, guys. Love this begonia here. Looks really, really nice. Has this really nice pastel-y color. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. This guy is going to be $4.97, as are most of these. This was also going to be $4.97, which is that annual dahlia I mentioned earlier. Keeping it moving, guys, we have the annual lobelia. They have the white one. Here it is, $4.97 for the annual lobelia. And then they have the blue one, this one right here. You got to, if you had to guess which one I would buy, which would you think? You already know I'm a big fan of blue. I've got enough whites. This is $4.97 dark blue. Love it, love it, love it. All right, next up we have the Mandevilla trellis mix right here, which is a red and a white one together for $24.97. This is what they look like. Not bad at all, guys. If you're looking for something to put by your mailbox, or maybe put it in the area that it will climb, this is really great. I love Mandevilla and also love Dipladenia, and they have this nice, beautiful red. Now, they come in yellow, they come in white, they come in red, they come in pink, but here they have them in the red and white. And then they have bigger versions of those tropical hibiscus, guys, which I love. Now, I don't understand why everywhere, this is not just one, everywhere you go, these tropical hibiscus are so expensive, especially for things that are not going to make it at the end of the year, right? But they are pretty. They are really, really pretty, guys. $16.97 for the tropical hibiscus. They got a lot of Lysimachia, guys, also known as creeping Jenny. This is great for containers, great for your hanging basket, or great for a ground cover. This beauty here I have so many growing in my yard. I'm just so happy I've finally gotten to the part where I never have to buy this again, because I have so many just expanding and expanding every single year. This guy here is going to be $2.97. They got some rough looking Gerber daisies here. That's the thing with Gerber daisies. They come out swinging, guys, but then when it's time to really show off, they kind of like disappear a little bit. More of the begonias that I showed you earlier, right? Love begonias. And what is this? This looks kind of different. It's a different type of begonia here. Okay, look at this. Begonia red double. Really, really nice. Love that bloom, guys. Look at that nice red bloom right there. And now we're going to start seeing coleus. I'm a big fan of coleus. We all love coleus because they're so easy to propagate, and they are known for their foliage. Their foliage is what gives them the edge, guys. How pretty is this? This guy here is going to be red green edge. Now, this is the thing. This is not a real variety, is it, right? Red green edge? I think you're just calling that because that's what it looks like, right? Love coleus. We're going to start seeing coleus. We have to remember that coleus does not take the cold really well, so you have to propagate it to get it to stay alive again and keep it moving, when the winter gets around. Then guys, they have a lot of begonias. Oh, really, really nice. I'm not complaining about it. It is really, really nice. And then we have more of the geranium. This is the red geranium here. They're not in bloom right now, but this is what it looks like. Just dark red, $7.88. Right next to that, we have the dianthus. Now, dianthus red, $7.88. Isn't that pretty, guys? Now, I don't have any. I gave away all. When I first started gardening, I had a lot of dianthus. But the thing about in my garden, I find the dianthus to be always laned, and I don't find their stems to be very strong. But a friend of mine, she loves dianthus. I dug up all my dianthus and gave them to her, and she hasn't complained about it, that she loves them that much. Right next to the dianthus is one of the most beautiful plants I see in here right now. This is also a celosia, and how pretty is this, guys? I love it. Now, do I need it? No. Will I pick it up? There's a chance. There's a chance because it's just so nice looking. $7.88 for this dark pink, dark leaf celosia. Really, really nice. All right, guys. Next up, they have the Petite Rose Knockout Red for $12.84. This is what it looks like. And I believe I had bought the ones that I have in my yard. I don't think I bought them that small, but I do remember buying the Petite Rose Knockout. They are really pretty and really nice looking and healthy. Mine are doing absolutely amazing. They've got some beautiful New Guinea impatiens, guys. Love these guys. They're an annual, though. This is just saying pink ruffle, $9.97. Right next to that one, we have the Kalanchoe, or Kalancho, as apparently I've been pronouncing this thing wrong, but it's $8.97. I've seen yellow, I've seen white, I've seen red, and I've seen pink. They only have the red one here. Really, really nice. This is going to be a whole $8.97, guys. All right, guys, that is pretty much it for me here today. Let me know what you think and let me know how things are going in your Walmart. Please like, please share, and please subscribe. Remember to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted on all my new videos. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.